What's good, YouTube? Mr. Mook6 here, bringing you something different to the channel today. Today I have top 10 Pokemon of the Kanto region. Let's get into it. Number 10. At number 10 we have Arcanine. The reason I have Arcanine so low on the list is just because it's a Stone Evolution Pokemon, and you have to level it up quite a bit to get some decent moves on it. But as you can see by its stats, it's very versatile, both physically and specially defensive, with a decent speed stat, and both attack and special attack that can make it a both offensive and defensive threat. Arcanine has access to many different moves that can create many different diverse sets, both physical, special, and defensive. Number 9. At number 9 we have Mook. The reason I have Mook on this list is because it's one of my favorite lower tier Pokemon to use competitively. With its 105 HP stat and its 100 special defense stat, Mook can prove to be a very successful special defensive wall when you slap on an Assault Vest on him. But with a 105 physical attack stat and access to moves like Shadow Sneak and Curse, Mook can prove to be a very threatening offensive threat. Number 8. At number 8 we have Nidoking. Nidoking is a specially offensive powerhouse. You slap a Choice Scarf on it and give it all special attacking moves, it will definitely break some walls. But the thing about Nidoking is it can also be a physical attacker and put your opponent in a difficult spot when they have to figure out whether or not he's the typical Choice Scarf special attacker or a Life Orb physical variant. Nidoking also has a nice 85 speed, which makes it a good Scarf runner. This is the second poison type I have on this list, and it'll be the last one too. Number 7. At number 7 we have Persian. Persian, I can almost guarantee, is not on everyone's top 10 list, but I have a couple good reasons why Persian's on mine. After watching the anime and seeing Giovanni, the big bad boss of Team Rocket, have one of these, I thought to myself, well, he's got to have one for a reason. Persian's regality, its intimidatedness, it just all comes together to form this very, very appealing Pokemon to me. I like it. And with a base stat total of 440, it may not seem that impressive, but in the tier that it's in with Technician and moves like Fake Out and other moves that can utilize that ability, Persian can move fast and hit hard. I love it. Number 6. At number 6, we have Gengar. I had a choice to make between Gengar and Alakazam, and ultimately I went with Gengar because of its unique typing being both Ghost and Poison typing. Gengar's special attack and speed are both very impressive, topping over 110 and 130 respectively. Gengar moves fast and hits hard, and with Dual Stab, Shadow Ball, and Sludge Bomb both being impressive moves to add to his move, also throwing on moves like Thunderbolt, Dazzling Gleam, and Energy Ball if you feel so fit. Gengar can hit almost anything hard and shatter walls completely. It's only so high on my list because Gengar is a trait evolution mon, and as a kid, when I would play Pokemon as avidly and actively as I did, Gengar was something that I couldn't use very often because no one would really trade with me. That's not trying to say I didn't have friends, it's just that no one would want to trade it back because they realized how great Gengar was. Number 5. At number 5, I have Zapdos. Zapdos is my favorite Pokemon, especially the favorite of the 3 legendary birds of Kanto. Zapdos is also my favorite electric flying type, and Pokemon like Emolga have nothing on Zapdos. Zapdos can be a very fast, hard-hitting special attacker, but can also be a very reliable special defensive wall. With moves like Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Roost, etc., Zapdos may not have the most diverse moveset, but he makes do with what he has. Zapdos also has one of the most interesting designs that I have. I remember going through Pokemon Red and Green and trying to capture Zapdos with my Master Ball. I didn't know about Mewtwo yet, but I did know about Zapdos. Number 4. At number 4, I have another surprising choice on my list being Magneton. Most people prefer Magnezone to Magneton, but I prefer Magneton to Magnezone. Magneton has a better speed stat than Magnezone, with the same abilities though, which makes it a very surprising choice Scarf to use on your team. With abilities like Sturdy, Analytic, and Magnet Pull, Magneton could be a very difficult Pokemon to predict for when it has 3 great abilities at its disposal. With moves like Volt Switch to provide utility, and also Thunderbolt, Flash Cannon, and Hidden Power Fire for those pesky steel types in OU, Magneton is a very offensive and bulky defensive threat. Number 3. At number 3, I have Machamp. Machamp almost made it to top 2, except my top 1 is, of course, well, I hope you expect it's going to be my mascot. But Machamp only made it to top 3 just because of its trade evolution and because of its slow speed stat and its inability to learn moves like Mach Punch, which honestly, if you read Machamp's Pokedex entry, it says that he can punch very fast. He gets moves like Bullet Punch, so why not give him Mach Punch? I don't know. I'm not working at Nintendo. I don't work for the Pokemon Company. I would, but I can't. Machamp does, however, have a very high 130 physical attack stat, also boasting an impressive 80 and 85 defense and special defense respectively, and a 90 HP stat to go along with that, to make it both able to absorb a hit and fire back one twice as hard. Machamp has all of the punching moves to its accessibility, but also has 2 amazing abilities, being both No Guard and Guts. You can't go wrong with either of them. I personally prefer No Guard because Machamp gets moves that aren't always 100% accurate. I can run Stone Edge on him, I can run Dynamic Punching and always get that 50% confusion, and I can run moves like Earthquake for coverage and Bullet Punch for priority. But Machamp overall is just a very hard-hitting, one of my all-time favorite Pokemon. Love you, buddy. Number 2. At number 2, I have a 3-way tie between all of the starters in the Kanto region. I love them all. I can't choose between any of them. Venusaur's Mega Evolution is so overpowered, and I love it so much. Blastoise is my personal favorite, and he's the one I started my journey with way back, all the way in those years. Charizard is always a fan favorite, and I couldn't not leave him off the list. Although he wasn't the first choice I had, seeing him again in recent games just brought back this love that I had for this flying fire beast. Although he's 50% weak to Stealth Rocks, he makes up for it by being both a very hard-hitting physical and special attacker. I love all these Pokemon so much, and I'm glad that I got to choose between all 3 of them on my journey and am able to experience the experiences I've had with all 3 of them. And last but not least, number 1. I hope you could have guessed who my number 1 choice would have been, considering it's my mascot of the channel, but I love Snorlax. I don't know why, as soon as I saw him sleeping on Route 30, I just thought to myself, I need this Pokemon. He's big, he just looks like he needs a hug, and he eats a lot, so I can relate to him on a both personal and spiritual level. Snorlax may not have that many great moves to its set, but you cannot deny the fact that it is a very fat wall. With a 160 HP stat compared to its 110 special defense, there are not many things that can go through this thing. Given the fact that it also has moves like Curse, Rest, Sleep Talk, and Body Slam, the typical set, I cannot tell you how many times I've swept kids with this set. I'll be losing 1-5 and I'll come back and win just because Snorlax is that reliable as a Pokemon. It also has 2 great abilities with Immunity and Thick Fat. Normally I run Thick Fat, considering it gives Snorlax even more bulk to it, but Immunity prevents it from being toxic, which is also a very viable set. I love Snorlax to death, and he's always going to be at my number 1 spot. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and there's a lot of work that went into this video, considering that I make my own thumbnails, I record all this myself, I don't know, I spent a lot of time on this. It would really mean a lot to me if you like the video, subscribe if you're new. I'm trying to get back into YouTube. School's starting to come to the end. I'm able to produce more content for this channel. I'm really hoping to build this and build a fan base just because I love doing this. I love putting my opinion on the internet, having people agree with me, disagree with me. I just love the interaction with people that I normally wouldn't get to see in my everyday life. So thank you so much. This has been Mr. Milkshakes here. I'm out. Peace.